I love the quote. I really don't know who said it, so I'm coining it. So we'll just put that out there.
All right.
The greatest gift God has given us is our potential.
Yeah.
What we do with that potential is the greatest gift we can give back to him.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Solid. We're super excited to be here with you today. We have a special guest with us, Alex Cornwall. Jeff and I have known Alex for a long time. I think 2006, 2007 is when we initially got into business together in financial services. And Alex has been through the ups and downs of life. He's going to tell his story today. Very impactful. I encourage you to pay attention to it, take some notes, share this episode with your friends and family. I guarantee you this one will help you, and we really appreciate you tuning in. So here we go.
My whole perception, going back to when I got let go, I realized I have 3 declarations in my life now that I live by. F it is number 1. I am never going to rely on other people to pay my income. Mm-hmm. Ever. I'm never going to search for it. I'm never going to want it. Now, do I work in a position right now where I do get a salary? Yes. But is it my means to end? No.
Right.
And I will never rely on it. I never will, and I'm never going to.
Right.
Okay? Because that will never define, I'm never going to be controlled by that. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is stop chasing money.
Yep. It runs fast, don't it?
It does.
People don't figure that out.
It's
like money runs fast if you chase it. If you become an incredible human being, like you just said, you build some incredible skills, you become valuable, money will chase you. I think I said it before. It's like once you get good at that stuff, you open the floodgates and it just floods right in.
Mm-hmm. The day you learn that you're not paid for the time you put in, but you paid for the value you bring, is the day your whole life will change. Mm-hmm. Period.
Great statement.
It's awesome.
Period. And I realized that right there. Stop chasing it. Just be you.
Yeah.
You have a story. You know, are you perfect at it? No, but that's what's so awesome about life. It's growth. It's continual. There's no such thing as a destination. There's no such thing.
And
it's
not only
constant growth.
Not only be you, but show up being the best version of you that day.
Well, that comes into my third one. Stop chasing life and just start living it. Because the grass is greener always somewhere else.
Yeah.
But when you're actually just present and you're just committed to the present moment, I don't know if an hour is going to come. We treat time as if it's the most infinite commodity that we have. But what's the most sacred commodity that we really have? Time. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've known each other now off and on for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really think about that. Mm-hmm. Almost 20 years. Do you really feel like it's been 20 years since we've talked? I mean, we're sitting down talking as if it's been like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Time is the most finite thing that we own.
Yep.
We have. Cherish it.
Wisdom.
Cherish it. Those are my 3. And it's like, I just sat there and it's like, you know what, Alex? You're still doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it's always like, once I get here, you know, and I still catch myself doing that all the time. And that is just a lousy way to live. Or another way is if I don't do this, I'm going to live regret later. That's a terrible way to live too.
Well, those are just limiting beliefs.
They really are. But we've sold those so much in business and stuff. Pain of change, pain of regret. And I agree with the statement.
At some point, yeah.
You're right.
On a superficial basis.
Yes. But if we're looking at true fulfillment, happiness, who are we? You know, if we understand who we are, and we're enjoying the process, enjoying the journey, growing every day, knowing that not every day I'm going to want to get after it. I'm going to have bad days. I'm going to want to just quit for the day. Yep. Knowing that, you know what, I'll get back up and I'll go tomorrow, you know, and just enjoy the ups and downs, which sounds kind of weird, right? How do you enjoy the tough times? I don't know if enjoy is the right word.
No, I think that's a great word for it.
Yeah. I mean, if you understand. Appreciate. You know, there's a reason I'm going through this. God does love me. Yeah. I believe in God. I believe he does love me. So he's allowing me to go through this, because if I don't, just like CrossFit, you're not going to get stronger if you don't go and push it in CrossFit.
Yep.
It sucks. You go, why do I have to do this? Because that's if you don't want to.
Well, it's like this, dude. It was like right before we started, we were talking about these theological truths, right? That some people say, well, if you don't wake up at 5 a.m., you're not going to become successful.
I think that's bullcrap.
It is bullcrap, and because there are a lot of people who are successful that wake up early in the morning at 5 a.m., and there's a lot of people who don't wake up at 5 and they're successful, because what time you wake up has nothing to do with success. But these theological truths that we're trying to like justify, like if I take this action or I don't take this action, it's going to have impact on my success or my failure. It's not. But what guaranteed will have an effect on the success or failure you have in your life is how you treat today, the value you place on what you do today.
I think it's understanding that life is not happening to you, it's happening for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it comes down to. So if it's really happening for you, what can I get out of it?
Mm-hmm.
What can I learn? If you always treat life as it's happening to me, well, you're reacting.
Mm-hmm.
You're regretting, you're reacting, you're always thinking like, oh, I should have done it better. I should have done it this way. Whereas if you're acting like, no, life's happening for you.
Yeah.
How can I be a solution seeker to the issues that I have today? How can I overcome this so I can continue to have growth?
Yeah.
Life is happening for you every single day.
Yep.
And that's what hit, and it hit hard. I remember sitting in my truck, 2020. That's what hit. It's like, bro, everything you've been listening to, everything you've been doing. And I remember just that day, I just started writing down my gratitudes again.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't have started working on myself, that would have been another pivotal point where I would have taken that other crossroad.
So it sounds to me like some of these habits that you'd started building in your journey to success ultimately kept you on track later on.
And a lot of times we don't know that those small little things in life that we're doing are such a big impact in the future.
Yep. Like putting $100 a month away in your retirement account starting when you're 20 years old.
Exactly.
Or working out every day for 45 minutes or an hour. You know, when you meet somebody who's 40 or 50 years old, it's pretty obvious if they've spent some time on their physical fitness the last 10 years, right?
Exactly.
The same thing with someone who's financially successful. My wife and I were talking on the way over here that, you know, you can, she knew somebody in high school who, when he was in high school, had $100,000 saved up. And I go, you know what's cool about a young kid like that who makes a decision to commit and sacrifice, put $100,000 away, is he can take that, put it away, and it'll set him up for the rest of his life, and he can just focus on being the best possible version of himself and just creating something awesome. He doesn't have to worry about his future, whether or not he's going to be able to retire, whether or not he's taken care of. If he can just focus on being the best, and that's kind of like these habits, right? It's
exactly.
the same thing.
It's the small little habits. But again, if you don't truly learn to love you for you and believe in you, you're never going to build those habits.
True.
If you don't believe in yourself that you can make an extra $100 a month, are you going to put it away?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not. You have to believe in yourself. I think that's what's missed in society. And for me, it was me personally in business. It had nothing to do with any business that I was in.
Right.
It had nothing to do. It had everything to do with me. I don't care if I go sell ice to an Eskimo right now. I know I'll be successful because I'll figure it out and I'll serve people.
Well, it's because in every industry, there's always somebody making money, right? No matter what you do, there's somebody making money doing it, right? Whether it's real estate, it doesn't matter what it was or what it is. And there's someone, so the question is just, what is that person doing to become successful? And then the question is, have you done those things to expect those results?
See, and my thing is, I don't really care what they're doing on the field. I want to see what they're doing off.
Well, usually that's
because that's where the success
impact,
actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a stat, and I'm going to butcher this, I bet you, but you know, for every 1,000 baseballs that are hit in practice, one base hit is hit in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that stat.
Yeah.
For every 1,000 that are hitting, you get one base hit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we expect to make one phone call and get one sale right off that one phone call.
Right.
Give me a freaking break.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so we lost the art of mastering our craft.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that. Look at architecture nowadays.
I mean, look at all of it. Look at everything is half-assed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I bought a new truck last year and COVID and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, dude, there's problems left and right with it. I was like, dude, where did the quality go?
Right.
Oh.
It's because we've lost track of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, there was a shift and I don't know, like I haven't stopped. I have to redirect all the time. I screw up all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what we do in secret always eventually comes out in public.
Exactly.
Right.
It's funny because people who make those mistakes in secret, and all of us have done it, we know it's showing in public too, even though we're telling ourselves it's not, but we know everybody else can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's that self-reflect, that self-work that you're doing offside. It has nothing to do with anything you're doing in your business or in your career. If you're an entrepreneur, I really don't care.
Yeah.
It's whatever you want to do, but it's what you're doing outside. Like focus on you first. And that's where that whole notion of, no, Alex, you need to be so you can have the skill set to do what you want. That will let you have everything you need in your life. And that's where I direct my life now is like, okay, you're in a lull. I was in a lull even just this last week.
Yeah.
Alex, you got off track, going off that waking up at 5 a.m. That's something that I strive to do. It's not because it makes me more successful. It gets me uncomfortable. Yeah. That's why I do it.
Yeah.
Like I freaking hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate waking up. I hate being druggy, but I know I'm uncomfortable when I do it. And I know that's where growth comes. So that's why I do it.
Yeah.
I still go to the gym. I recommitted to the gym. I recommit to all this stuff because I know that's helping me it gives me the confidence. I love what Ed Milet says. You want to build your self-confidence, start keeping the little promises you make to yourself.
Yep. It's true.
If you're going to tell yourself you're going to wake up at 5, wake up at 5.
Yeah, I think that's what builds your self-esteem. Going back to belief, I've always said I believe the number one reason most people give up on their goals and dreams, don't accept them or don't tell anybody about them, don't chase them, is because of their self-worth or their self-esteem. They don't have this inside self-worth that says, yeah, I deserve to accomplish that, have that, or be that individual. I can see in my mind's eye having that, being that, or doing that thing. And because they don't have that self-esteem, they don't even attempt it.
Yeah.
I'm not even trying. So building up someone's self-esteem, I think is why it's so important for us to talk the way we talk to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
The things we say to ourselves, the things we say to other people, the things we say to our children, the way we talk to other people, a lot of times just a reflection of the way we talk to ourselves. And if you want to build up self-esteem, then you're going to have to start thinking about those things early on. And then you keep those promises. You tell, I'm going to do this. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. You do it. Okay, that's a win. I'm going to go, make 10 sales calls today. I did it. Okay, that's a win. And the more often you can do that, the more success you're going to have. And I think another thing on that point that we were talking about earlier, you don't have to be perfect. Because a lot of times on the journey to success, people think, oh man, I'm going. And then they fall and maybe they miss a day at the gym or they miss a sale or whatever. They get laid off and they feel like, oh, I'm a failure because I missed this thing. Not at all. In fact, if you can just be consistent and you might miss that one day or you might miss the gym or you just recommit.
Yep.
That's all you've got to do is recommit and not beat yourself up because then you start doing what? Subtracting from your self-esteem again. If you go, I'm the same person I was yesterday, I just made a bad mistake. And all you need to do is make more good choices than you make bad choices and you move in a winning direction.
Well, it's this whole saying, there's no such thing as perfection. So don't expect it in your life because you'll never achieve it.
And
you will never achieve perfection. I'm sorry, you won't.
You won't at all. And I think it's okay to want to chase, your view of perfection. I think as long as you're not placing like your self-worth,
your value shouldn't be based on if you're perfect or not.
Yeah, because I don't think. In fact, I think it's a very good thing to say, hey, if I'm going to do X, Y, Z, I want to be the best at it. Right? I want to give it my all, everything I can, but. Because that's who I am, that I give it my all, not at this thing. But I'm going to be good at this thing because I gave it my all, because I focused. And, I think that's a good success principle.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there's a quote that just reminded me of that. And I love the quote. I really don't know who said it, so I'm coining it. So we'll just put that out there.
All right.
The greatest gift God has given us is our potential.
Yeah.
What we do with that potential is the greatest gift we can give back to Him.
Yep.
And I think if we change that striving for perfection to I'm just trying to reach my full potential. That's my ultimate goal.
Yep.
I mean, it puts a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
For me, at least it does. Like I am chasing the better version of myself every single day.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do lose track of that. Sometimes I do, I'm not going to lie to you. Is my relationship 100% every single day? No. There's some days like she wants to wring my neck and rightfully so. She should.
Yeah.
I'm a dick. I'm a guy. I mean, come on. We can all relate.
Yeah.
If we can't relate, you're lying to yourself and stop lying to yourself. Nobody is perfect.
Right.
But I do know that I do have potential.
Yeah.
I do know that God sees more in me than I see myself.
Right.
And all I've got to do is just have that, get myself out of the box I've put myself in, because there's no such thing as a box, and realize that that is there. I mean, my wife told me something very like profound last week is, you know, you will never be given nothing that you can't overcome.
Right.
So you're good.
Yeah.
When I was going through the crowd, like, you know, this is just something you're going to have to overcome. Look at how much you've overcome in your life already.
Yep.
Like, this is just a minute, like not even a glimpse of what your full life could be.
Yeah.
And is. Like, don't dwell on such one defined moment that you think that's going to define the whole rest of your life, because it's not.
Yeah, it's not. I think that's such a good thing about your grateful, list that you write down. A lot of times, I'll write my wife letters or my kids letters or whatever. And one of the things I'll do is I'll just always write, the things that I'm proud of my wife for accomplishing, some of the things that we've done in our lives. And I'll always end it with, but the future is going to be so much better.
Yeah.
It's like, because that's how I'm always like, how awesome has our life been? Because I feel like the luckiest man in the world. Our life has been so awesome up to this point. There's been a lot of challenges, been a lot of struggles. If I focused on that, I could write a book that looked like it was horrible, or one that looks like it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the truth is, it's phenomenal, because as good as the winning is, you forget about the times that hurt, which is why it's important to talk about. I think it's important to remind people, hey, we've all been there. But if you can stay focused on, hey, let's make the future better, it stops you from becoming too comfortable and complacent, which is a scary place to be. Mm-hmm. And then it also keeps you out of this thing where I deserve something, like I deserve to be here, because, while I feel internally like my self-esteem is worth it, I got to be grateful that I get the opportunity to be here at this moment and get a chance to grow and get better.
Well, you're explaining the law of polarity.
Mm-hmm.
With there's polarity in everything.
Yep.
Hot and cold, good and bad. Mm-hmm. And that's a natural law that we need to understand. I mean, it's just like the law of gravity, the law of, it takes force to have a plane take off. I mean, you have to have that force for that plane to take off. Without it, it's not going anywhere. You have to have force in your life. You have to have something that's trying to push you back to move forward.
Yeah.
It's having the discipline. And what is discipline? I have a saying, discipline is, you got to be highly committed, but highly creative as well. Because there are going to be roadblocks that come in your way. There are going to be things that you're going to have to think outside again. Think, okay, this happened. I need to figure it out. I do want to hit this goal and dream. I do want to achieve this. How can I get creative to overcome this? Yeah. And that's thinking again outside the box and really thinking, okay, where can I go from here? And I think that in sales in general, go back to sales, people aren't creative enough when it comes to sales. People aren't creative enough.
Agree.
Most people. Yeah,
and that's why they fail.
The ones that make big money are.
Yeah.
And you watch them.
Well, look at them. I mean, you guys got highly creative. Yeah. And that's why you're successful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so
it's like the ant philosophy. An ant works all summer because they're preparing for winter. Mm-hmm. And they work all winter preparing for summer, right? The fact is they're always preparing and they're always moving for that next season. And I think that's the epitome of what discipline is, which is doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, regardless of how you feel. And ultimately, if you have discipline, you end up feeling great about the things that you do, even if they hurt, right? Like you say about going to the gym, like I really do. Like, the other day we were doing CrossFit. What we've been doing, the way my wife and I have been working out, we'll do legs. We'll do a HIIT training the next day, and then we'll do like your normal splits, like in bodybuilding or whatever. So we're 1, 2, 3. And so the other day that we were doing this HIIT training, I'm going to wear my body armor. She's like, what? Why? I'm like, why not? It adds another 20 pounds. She's like, you're crazy. And I'm just always thinking, well, I know I can do it without the body armor. So I want to see how bad it hurts with it, because when I'm done at the end, I hurt, but I'm so I don't know. I feel like this sense of accomplishment, and I almost get addicted to that feeling.
Well,
right?
It goes back to what Brandon said about you. You've trained yourself to be that way.
Yeah, of course.
You're seeking it. You want to push yourself even more because through uncomfortable times and uncomfortable situations. That I was like, I've got my built-in body armor. I feel that every single day. I know how you feel. Mine's built in.
You carry it around always.
Yeah, like going up the stairs is like, oh. But you've already trained yourself, and you're continually training yourself every single day, and you're willing to push yourself. And people lose sight of that. People lose sight of, look, you got to get uncomfortable. You got to do it. And so, and this is something too, is like, I look back, like when I started this journey of growth, I mean, I was 39 years old when I really started this. Mm-hmm. And I had read the books previous. I had listened to podcasts. I've listened to other things. And I was like, it's just this aha. And I even reminded myself again last week. It's so crazy. We're having this talk, that, if this is what the successful people are doing, if they're meditating, if they're doing breath work, if they're working out every single day, if they're eating healthy, if they're like, writing down their gratitudes, and other people think that's crazy, well, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
If I go to some people, like just a group of people I speak to, and they think, you really write gratitudes every single morning? Yep. You're crazy. I couldn't do that. I was like, sweet, I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact, 95% of the people don't do what they need to do because they're not willing to do it. And so I just decided, like, I'm just going to do the opposite.
Do you think it's they're not willing to do it, or
they're scared? I think it's fear.
I think they wonder, if I do it, is it really going to pay off? Like, is it really going to work?
I think it's the fear. I think people, I mean, for me in general, like, I'm going through a time in my life right now where it's like,
real estate is changing, man.
As you can tell, I did stay in real estate.
Yep.
I took the advice. I started through relationships, through other people believing in me. They're like, I'm going to help you do this.
Yeah.
I needed to prove to myself that I was like, no, Alex, you can do this.
Yep.
So March of 2020, I started on a journey selling real estate.
Yeah.
Sold real estate, and it changed my life. Everybody asked, like, holy crap, you sold through COVID and everything? I was like, yeah. He's like, how was it? I was like, it changed my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I went on to make, a great 6-figure income, and it's gone up from there.
Yeah.
And, am I on the right track? Yeah. Is the market currently hitting my income right now? It is. And so I'm recognizing and realizing it's like, as hard as you want to work, I don't care how good you are in some industries, it's not, again, it's out of your control.
Well, at the same time, though, is the real estate market changes. This happens for any market, no matter what happens. When there's a correction, all it does is show everybody who really has put in the work to become the best.
Exactly.
Prunes the trees.
It does. And I'm seeing that in the brokerage now. I've had quite a few agents. Hey, I'm going inactive. I've got to go find a job. I'm going to go to my other job. And I was like, I didn't even know you had another job. Good to know, because you weren't selling any real estate.
Yeah.
Yep. So it is exposing a lot of people, but it's also exposing things in me.
Yeah.
Because it came so easy the last few years, I was like, crap, I got to get back to the basics.
Yeah.
So I'm taking self-reflection as well, going, Alex, you know what to do. Apply it.
Well, I think too, because you were saying, is it fear or belief? And I do think it may be fear, but I also think it's belief when it comes to writing the gratitudes or doing the self-improvement, like reading books and going to maybe hiring a coach. Those things cost money and they cost time. You got to invest time in doing it and energy, right? Yep. And, Lex and I were talking about this last night because she was talking to somebody who said, oh, that book's $50, man. And we're going, we spend thousands of dollars a year on self-improvement because it helps you become the person you need to become to get the results that we're all looking for.
Yes.
But I think most people don't really believe that's the case. They don't read. They don't invest in books. They don't invest in getting themselves in front of the right people.
It's funny you bring that up. When I made the decision in March, I called a buddy of mine, and I didn't tell my wife this until a few years later because she would have been pissed. But now that it actually paid off, I'm like, okay, I'll tell you. I actually borrowed $6,000 from a buddy going, hey, I need help. I wasn't making any money then. I was $60,000 in debt. I had bills. I had a truck to my name. That's it. I was like, barely see my kid, back child support. It sucked, but I was determined. I was like, I'm going to make this work. And I took $3,000 of that and I hired a coach because I looked around. Okay, what are all the successful realtors doing in this town?
Yep.
I knew them all.
Yep.
I was good friends with a lot of them. So I called them up, said, hey, I need recommendations. Who do you got? Yeah. Who's the best? And I remember calling the coach and I said, hey, I got $3,000. I'm going to pay you 3 months in advance.
Yeah.
$1,000 a month.
It's awesome.
And he's like, what about the other the other month, you're signing your contract. And I just told him, man, if I can't make this happen in 3 months, I don't deserve to be in the business.
Yeah.
That was my mentality. Like, I don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And so I started, and it was crazy after like that word got out in the real estate industry. You know, you start getting these calls and these offers started coming in. Hey, we want you to be your broker. We'll give you a little sign-on bonus. And to say no to sign-on bonuses that would, you know, at that time we're like, man, 30 grand's kind of nice. I mean, that could really set me up, but I wasn't focused on that because again, I needed to prove to myself that I could do it. Well, and through that coach, it was crazy because my mindset was there. I had hired coaches in the past, but my mindset wasn't there. Again, you can get placed on a silver platter of business. Here you go. I mean, we see it all the time with all these people that are, you know, dad builds a business and leaves it to the son. What does the son do?
Just loses it all.
Loses it all. Yeah. Why?
They weren't prepared.
They weren't prepared. Their mindset wasn't there. They think they could just take it over and just go with it. So, you know, you got to have your mindset in place.
I think a good lesson on that is the parable of the talents, right?
Oh, most definitely.
Where, you know, even if you do an okay job managing that business, are you really doing what you're supposed to be doing? I think that's a good point. You know, my son this morning, I was talking to him because I went into his room and he was reading. So I'm so proud of you for reading. And he was thinking, I go, so what's the book about? Right. And he was like, looks at me like, Dad, really? And I go, and so he starts telling me, I go, okay, I know that's what the book's about, but what's your favorite part? And he's like, Dad, why are you asking me this? I go, son, because a lot of times, you know, I'll tell someone, hey, read this book, and they would say, hey, yeah, I read the book, and I would just ask them, what's your favorite part? And they don't have an answer, and I realized they didn't read the book, and so I'm proud of you because you knew how to explain. I said, son, understand people that love to learn, people that go seek out information to make them better are the ones that separate themselves. I go, the number one cause of poverty in this world is the lack of education, right? And I go, son, education doesn't always mean a degree from a school or a certain class you went to, but what you're doing right now, reading a book, learning, that's education. Yeah. And you choosing to do that, seeking information that can make your life better, separates you from the rest of the world. Because I always tell my son, look, son, you're not getting anything, right? Like, you're going to have to earn everything you get in this life. Yeah. And nobody's going to give you anything. I'm not giving you anything. It's funny because he'll always tell his friends, yeah, I'm rich. I go, dude, you ain't rich. I'm rich. You're broke. You know, he's got like $175 saved right now. He's so excited, you know. That's you have $175, bro. That's all you got, you know. I just always remind him, like, look, dude, if you work hard, if you're, you know, and I'm so proud of him because a lot of times, and he sees that in Kelsey and us reading and trying to get better, so he'll go in his room and do it. But I think coming back to that belief thing, it's our job as leaders to pour into people around us to remind them that investing your money into a book isn't going to help you. Investing your money into a book that you're going to acquire and seek out the knowledge inside of is going to change your life.
Yeah, you got to not just learn. I mean, I think as human beings, we all naturally like to learn, want to learn. We're curious. We just are. That's our nature. So if you don't recognize that, you need to become more aware. Hey, I do like to learn. I do like, so if you say I don't like to learn to love to learn to love to learn.
I think that's the most important thing we teach our kids, other than loving Christ, is loving to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And what that does, that helps you condense time frames. Like, it always confuses me now that I've had some success in life. Now I look back, it doesn't confuse me because I see what the problem is, but how some of the busiest people in the world are the most broke people. Like, how are you so busy and broke? Yep. Like, that doesn't make sense. If you're really busy, what are you busy doing? You know, and not just financially. I mean, if you're struggling, I mean, so if you put the time into effective practices for your family, with your kids, in your business or work, in your church, religious beliefs, whatever, and you're constantly paying attention to that stuff, you become successful and you condense time frames. You can get a lot of work done in a few hours if you know what you're doing and you're effective. Yep. But that doesn't just happen. It comes from hours and even years, of reading, experience,
It comes from value. Like I was saying before, you don't get paid off the time you put in, you get paid off the value you bring. And through that value comes from the knowledge that you have.
No.
Yeah, knowledge, relationships, experience, credibility, things that take a lot of years to build. And that's another thing that I think people they're so lackadaisical about, because they want success to happen right now.
Oh man.
And it's going to take time for you to build relationships. It's going to take time for you to build credibility. It's going to take time for you to learn new skills. It's going to take time for you to learn how to implement those things, and then to see systems and processes and where they fail and how you can get better and how you can fix things so that you can become valuable, whether it's to an organization, an individual, or whatever it may be. And then you can provide value. Then obviously you get paid in direct proportion to that.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's what it really comes down to in my life. And I learned that really quickly on this journey. It's like, it's not it's the value. Mm-hmm. You provide more value, and that value comes from working on myself.
Mm-hmm.
The more I become, the more I earn.
So let me ask you this. The market's changing. We were talking about that before. Mm-hmm. It's adjusting. I know last time in 07, 08, 09, and it was changing. It was like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. And I'm sure perspective was similar to that, like, oh crap. And now I don't think your perspective is that. What is your perspective about now? What is the difference of your perspective in this market versus the last market in response to yourself, and how you're handling yourself as a professional, as a man, It's a
great question. Great question. It's totally different. Do I catch myself? Yes. Mm-hmm. I won't lie to you. I do catch myself resorting back. I mean, I think that's what my big fear was last week. And man, you haven't had a closing in a couple of months. What's going on? But then I have to sit back and realize that, well, I have been able to had the opportunity to make some really good investments in some crypto stuff that's been paying off. It's giving me a residual income that's great. Like, me and my wife, we're doing awesome. And it's like, no, just count your blessings. It's okay. And one thing that my mentors have, again, it's about who you surround yourself with as well. Mm-hmm. I've got amazing mentors, amazing coaches, amazing friends. And I just try to be that calming voice.
Yeah.
I think that's more than ever needed in this world right now, is be a calming voice for society, for people. That's why, I started a podcast as well. Just because I want to know and understand what other people, what makes them tick? Why are they doing what they do? Like, what's the purpose? I've got a model: be purpose driven in all you do. Be purpose driven. Mm-hmm. So wake up, and I'm doubling down on me. I'm doubling down on what I can do and what I can control and how I can control it. I can't control the market. I can't control if my listings sell. Right. I can control on what I do. Yeah. And how I perceive everything.
I think one of the things you said was going back to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people need to remember that when things change, maybe you got off track because maybe, let's face it, in the real estate market the last few years, it's been easy, right? It's
it's so
offers,
easy.
4 or 5 offers, list a house an hour later, right? Everything's selling, overpriced. So it's changing, right? So as the market changes, but it doesn't matter what business you're in, it's going to change. It doesn't matter what you do. There's always going to be times that change. And so the question is, what do you do when things change, and maybe it's, for not the better, right? Where it's moving in a not so positive direction. You go back to the fundamentals, because that's how you separate yourself from amateurs, right? And you're a pro because you mastered the fundamentals of the business.
Yeah,
right?
You got to get back to the basics.
I think you are always so good at that, Brandon. Reminding people to stick with the fundamentals.
Yeah, those that did that stayed. Yeah. Those that lost that didn't make it.
Yeah.
I remind myself the acronym KISS: keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Again, I think we overcomplicate life. I think we overcomplicate business in general. I mean, what is sales? And personally, I truly believe that we don't need more salesmen in this world. We need more leaders.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's a leader? Mm-hmm. Leaders help people make tough decisions.
Yeah.
Period. Mm-hmm. I mean, and on top of that, leaders help people see value they don't see in themselves.
Yeah.
That to me is a good leader. If they can help people see, like, you've got value, you can do this, you're good, you got this, be that cheerleader, be that calming voice, and help them make that tough decision. No, take the leap.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. Trust your instincts, but it all comes down to that self-confidence, self-belief in them. And that's what a true leader does, is that it brings that out. And,
right.
And that's what sales is all about. I mean, really think about it, guys. When was the last time you wanted to be sold to?
Nothing.
When was the last time you wanted to be presented to?
Yeah.
Never.
When was the last time you wanted to have a genuine conversation?
Right.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
All the time.
Guess what? That's sales.
Yeah.
And we need to get out of that mindset of, okay, I'm going to go have a presentation. No, I go have listing conversations.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about putting your house on the market. Let's have a conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you want to buy a home? Sweet. Let's sit down, chat about it, and see if we can make that dream a reality.
Right.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
care what you're doing. I don't care if you're selling pest control. You see a problem, fill that problem.
Yeah.
Again, be a solution seeker. That's it. That's all it is. But that comes from the leadership side, not the sales side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always looked at as a leader, as an individual who inspires and influences others to take positive. I mean, whether it's positive or negative, but to take action. So a leader is somebody who inspires or influences others to take action. And that really is a leader, because a lot of people think they're leading, but they're not. They're just going for a walk. Nobody's actually following, right?
Yeah, not only that, I mean, I think you've got to, I want to follow somebody who's done something.
Yeah.
You know, so as a leader, you've got to go do it.
Yep.
And you've got to show that you know how to do it. And that gives you the confidence that you know how to do it. Once you know how to do it, if you can transfer that to other people, now you're bringing value. Now you can lead them.
Yep.
Until you go do it first, until you go make it happen. I mean, that was my initial thought when I got recruited into financial services. I thought to myself, how can I expect anybody to follow me until I go and learn how to recruit people myself and how to set appointments, how to help clients and close sales. And once I have a track record of that, then other people I can show my track record and say, here's what I do. I'd like to show you how to do the same thing.
Yep.
And people are desperate for leadership. You know why? Because there's no damn leaders, like you were just saying. There's a shortage of leadership. So they're desperate for us. So
we had to do a whole episode on leadership, dude.
Dude, honestly, it's needed, and you cannot give what you do not possess. I mean, that's that whole saying right there. And I struggle with that too. Is like when I decided, like, I love coaching. I love coaching people. I love inspiring people. And I have that, what's called imposter syndrome. Like, who are you to tell somebody or to share your experiences? Like,
does anyone not have that?
I mean,
I'm constantly going,
yes, those that don't believe, or those that are imposters.
Yeah.
True imposters don't have it.
Right. Well, there you go. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, really think
There you
about
go.
it. True imposters don't have it.
Yeah.
Imposters, so like I struggle with that a big time. Like, who am I?
Yeah.
But someone told me, like, who am I not? When I first started the podcast, I got a little story. It's like, you know, I do have experience coming from the depths of hell and coming back. I do have life experience about
Absolutely.
that.
And winning.
I do have experience about, you know, getting your life on track, and in 2 short years going from negative 60,000 in debt to, you know, I'm actually, my assets just went over $1 million in assets. Now I'm working on cash flow.
Cool.
I'm working on cash flow, but
That's
I do have assets over $1 million now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My net worth.
That's awesome.
And so in 2.5 short years
yeah.
of working my ass off doing it, you know, is the cash flow there? Not yet, but it sure damn will be pretty soon. Give me 5 years.
Yeah.
It's going to be there.
Right.
You know? And so, but that's all a byproduct.
Yeah.
I really, that's for me and my family to make sure that we're comfortable, we're safe. And that's a byproduct of this. And so, yes, you can go out and share your story.
Right.
And I think that's needed more. You don't need to have the income. You don't need to have so many people put, you know, not to discredit, you know, hard work and making a lot of money, but give credit to who you are as a human being first.
Yeah.
Because that's really what matters.
Well,
does that make sense?
Yeah, you shouldn't place your value on your income, definitely.
No.
I mean, it does make you less valuable as a human being because you make less money. God definitely doesn't look at you any differently because you make more or less. How you treat people. It's one of the things I'm always trying to tell my children is what matters, what makes me the happiest. I tell my kids all the time, what makes me the happiest is watching you guys treat other people so good. And so guess what makes other people happy? When you treat them so good and then they do the same thing for others. It's like this thing that we have naturally God built into all of us. Like we treat people good, we feel good. We watch our kids treat people good. We feel good that they feel good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this, I don't know. It's an awesome thing that if we can get life to a place where we can intentionally choose to serve, be grateful, become the best we can possibly be, and make other people feel good around us because we have good self-esteem. We end up building great communities, great lives. My wife said the other day, she goes, Jeff, it really does take a village to raise a child. And I said, it does. It does take a village to raise a child. And those people around your child, that village that you've put around them, are going to determine how that child becomes as they grow up, right? So it's our job to choose that village and make sure it's good. But we grew up, and it's the same thing with us and our teams as well, right?
We made it out.
Yeah.
okay, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Still
Right.
It always can be better.
TBD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think just we can maybe end with
Yeah.
this, but just this. We all have a story,
Yep.
We do.
and all of our stories are important. And something that's always kind of bothered me is like people who see the movie Troy, and he goes, the little kid comes up to him and says, "I wouldn't want to fight that big soldier you got to go fight." And he's like, "That's why no one will remember your name, right?"
Yep.
And we always use that as like, "Oh yeah," and so like you'll hear these motivational speeches. How many of you know your great 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 grandpa? And like nobody, hands go up, and they go, "That's because they never did anything special," and that is bull crap, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Bull crap.
We all have parents,
Yep.
2 parents, right? 4 grandparents,
Yep.
8 great-grandparents, 16, 32.
Yeah.
Every single one of those people have a story in their life, and every single one of them are important to you.
Yep.
Good, bad, ugly, pretty, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? They all have that story, and it all became who we are today, and we have our story.
Yep.
And I would agree with you, Alex. We need to be willing to share our story more often because it's your story. I appreciate being on here today because it's inspired me to be better. And you having the good times, the challenging times, overcoming. You're on the journey. You're not arrived. You're not looking at as I'm going to arrive someday. I'm on a journey. I'm going to continue to get better. I think it's such a great message.
I also respect that you've always done it with a smile, bro.
You have.
Yeah.
It's easy to put on a face.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, but not everybody does.
And that's the difference is like, I've always had that saying, if you can just smile at one person, there's a saying out there that treat everybody as if they're going through the worst day in their life. 90% of the time you're going to be right.
Yeah.
I was that person.
Yeah.
And people treated me with kindness and gratitude.
Yeah.
So do back, give back.
It's awesome.
And so, and just to end with that story, an example of why I am so adamant about sharing mine. At first I was like, you know what? I'm done with this stuff. I'm not going to do it. It was that 1 or 2 people that have reached out on social media that I have no clue who they are. So, and you know what? Thank you.
Yep.
I was about ready to take my life. You saved me.
Yeah.
That's why you do what you do.
Yeah.
That's why you share your stories.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea who you're going to impact.
Mm-hmm.
I just, and for me, I got thinking about that. It's like exactly what you said. You can go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Because he reached out to me. He's got kids. Those kids are now impacted gratefully.
Yep.
Those kids and vice versa. It's generational
Yes.
impact.
Yep.
And that's why you want to share your story and help other people and inspire, because it's not just that one person you're helping.
Yeah.
It's that whole side and that whole generation that you're helping.
Yeah. I think on stories, I've always told people your story matters. It doesn't matter who you are, your story matters.
Mm-hmm.
I just challenge you to make enough waves in life for everybody to want to pay attention to your story as you tell it.
I agree.
Right. And if you can do that, you're going to make a lot of positive change happen in the world.
Your story's constantly changing. That was just one chapter of mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
That's what's so exciting
you're
about
still
it.
a baby, man.
I know,
41.
bro.
41
You're
years old.
Just getting started, man.
I just closed one chapter.
Yeah.
I'm just on the introduction of my second chapter right now.
Yeah.
And then my chapter's 50 pages long, or
Yeah.
50 chapters long.
Yeah.
So that's what's so exciting about life is
Yeah.
I embrace the unknown. Does it scare the crap out of me? Absolutely. But I embrace it. I dance with it. And that's the whole goal.
Very good.
Awesome. Well, what a great episode. I'm excited
Thank you guys for
for
having me on. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome,
it.
and thank you
Thank
for
you for
coming
being
on.
here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we know you're busy. You got your life, and you're spending some time with us, and we don't take that lightly, man.
Oh,
so
thank you so much.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you coming. So,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I can't believe, man, we're already episode 19. So next week will be episode 20. We've been having so much fun doing this. Just appreciate all of you that have supported so far. If you guys will remember to comment, like, share, if you will, so we can beat the algorithms. A lot of you know we talk a lot about God, country, faith, a lot of the things that are suppressed on social media. So if you can help us get this out there, we would really appreciate it. Please continue to give us your feedback. So many of you have reached out with nice messages and just encouraging us. And thank you. We're having so much fun doing this, and look forward to seeing you guys next week. Stay solid.